Sure.
All right.
Hello.
So this is the applied math professional development session or career session. And basically the goal of this session is to help students understand what the major entails and what they can do once they graduate with an applied math degree. So they can then use that information to plan for their eventual careers in the field. So with that, we have Dr. Johnson and Dr. Graff who will take the lead for the event.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Hunter. You want to go ahead?
Hello, my name is Hunter Johnson. I've been at John Jay since 2008, and my PhD is in pure math, and Dr. Graff is in applied math, as he'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, so we launched the degree in applied mathematics a couple of years ago. We've had a lot of student interest for enough to satisfy us anyway. And we're heading towards our first majors, graduating the next year. So we're about to run our capstones for the first time, and we're just really excited that we have a lot of student interest and students in the pipeline, and we're just looking forward to meeting more interested students and helping them learn more math.
And let me add that the major has two concentrations or two tracks, which are rather unique to uni and perhaps to most schools. Our most popular one is data science, and the other one is cryptography. Both are of interest to employers nowadays. So what can you do with a degree where you specialize either in data science or cryptography? The largest employer of mathematicians today is the intelligence sector of the United States government. That would be the National Security Agency, which is probably the largest employer, followed by the CIA and the Department of Defense. After that, you'll find a lot of interesting positions in finance, where mathematicians are used to build models of the equities markets, bond markets, and so on and so forth. Employment is also found in abundance in many small high-tech startups, many of which are found in the metropolitan area, but you also have larger firms like Google, Amazon, Apple, and so on and so forth. Large defense contractors like Northrop Grumman, and so on and so forth. And we shouldn't forget the actuarial careers as well. Mathematicians go into actuarial science, and there's a series of 10 examinations which you have to sort of grow into. In other words, you get the training from the actual actuarial society as you go through the stages of your career to become a certified actuary. So there's a lot out there, and also, even though we have the two tracks which are of considerable interest, you are still well prepared for graduate school in mathematics, whether you plan to go for a master's degree or all the way to a doctorate, or perhaps you want to go into K-12 education. Either way, you have the freedom and the flexibility to do so. Anything to add?
I was just, while you were talking, I was looking through the job listings on Indeed.com for people with a bachelor's of science in mathematics. And even though there's nothing in the query that says anything about data science, a good 50 or 60% of the jobs are for data analyst type jobs. And in the area where I live in New Jersey, the starting salary would be somewhere between I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but I don't think it's totally unrealistic to think that you might start at 60. and then you could, obviously with experience, you could go up from there. But I just see like tons of job openings for people with expertise in data analytics. That seems to be what they want math majors for, even, irrespective of having training specifically in data analytics. In our major, for the people that select the data science track, we try to also provide some training in data analytics. And all of our curriculum is built around understanding data science. You'll take a lot of statistics courses. The jobs that I see there that are not data analyst type jobs, they're things like statistician. If you finish the applied math major, you'll know a lot of statistics. I think you would be a strong candidate for a position that involved doing some kind of statistical analysis for a company. There are a lot of jobs that have various job descriptions that are basically just doing statistics, including data analytics. It's just a fancy word for statistics. Actuarial science is mostly statistics, and you'll get much more statistics in our program than you would in a typical math major. We've been talking recently with the instructor for our multivariate statistical analysis course, it's, I don't know how it's going with his students, but in typical math majors, you wouldn't even take a class like that. But everyone in our data analysis track takes multivariate statistics, and it's because it's essential for understanding how machine learning algorithms work, and so we emphasize those things. So when I look at Indeed.com and stuff like that, and I look through the job listings, it makes me feel good about the program, because the most of the jobs that seem to be out there seem to jive really well with what we're trying to teach students in the program.
Let me also add that the applied math major requires 12 credits of computer science. You will know how to program when you graduate, and that's an important skill. And many math majors throughout the country don't have that skill. And Professor Johnson touched on something else. He mentioned the word machine learning. Well, we have some interesting courses that can be taken as electives, machine learning being one of them. Professor Johnson devised the course and he teaches it. We have another course in quantum computing, something that isn't really part of the public vocabulary yet, but soon, a number of years, you're going to hear about it. So these are things that are on the horizon, and they are on the verge of permeating almost every field of endeavor, just the way 20, 30 years ago, computing began to make inroads into just about everything that we do today.
When I was
going to ask if there are any questions.
Yeah, I guess there's only one participant. Anna, what are you interested in? Can you tell us?
I think she's muted. She's in my calculus class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna type, but might as well just talk. I'm interested in data science. Like, I've chosen that as my concentration, but I'm also doing a minor in computer science. Like, since there's already some programming classes, like, I thought it would be nice to knock those out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But we have the we shouldn't get bogged down in technicalities, but we have the 6 credit overlap rule, which you should talk about with an advisor.
Yeah, I've made sure I don't mess around with that rule. So far, I've been pretty good in my previous semesters.
So what do you want once you finish your degree in data science? Do you have any idea what you might like to do?
I'm kind of like undecided on that, because I'm not really sure if I want to go straight into the work field or continue and do my master's. So I'm still kind of figuring that out, but I would definitely like to start taking some experience up. So I'm like applying for internships right now.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I would advise any student who has the time and the personal freedom and the financial resources to go to graduate school to definitely go to graduate school, because that investment of time and money will repay itself many times over throughout your working life. And there are lots of great options. All across the country, data science plus X programs have opened up pretty much everywhere. If you're interested in sociology or even the humanities, or there are a whole lot of graduate programs that have tailored data science curriculum around some other interests. And of course, there are master's programs just in data science alone also. And some of them are quite affordable. Right now everything is online anyway. There's a long-standing one of the first arguably reputable fully online master's programs was at Georgia Tech, and that's a machine learning master's degree. Georgia Tech is a very well thought of technical school, and that entire program costs $7,000. So at the other end of the spectrum, if you want to spend a lot of money getting a master's degree, there are ways to do that too. But CUNY has a master's degree in data analytics that's probably pretty compatible also with having a job. If you're a young person and you have enough time to keep up with a full-time job plus a little bit of graduate education, you could probably knock it off in a few years while you're working.
I'd like to also add that there are employers that after, let's say you've been working for them 18 or 24 months, they would be willing to pay for 1 or 2 graduate courses a semester. So that's something to also consider if you're seeking employment right after graduation. So there are avenues to help finance a graduate degree.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you for that. I'll keep that in mind.
Welcome.
So I have a question. What can students do? What type of activities can they engage in to prepare to apply for a job or apply to graduate school? Are these different or are they similar? Yeah, that's.
I would say that they're very different because when you look at these job applications, often you see a lot of stuff about employers want some kind of assurance that the student is familiar with various technologies. Like, can you do Hadoop? Do you know R? Do you know Python? Can you do PyTorch? Can you do TensorFlow? And graduate schools, not only do they probably teach you that stuff, and so they don't care about you bringing it. Also, they probably teach the material at a level that's more fundamental than just the technology du jour. So if you're just interested in employment with a BA, then you need to work on sort of what you might call your hacking skills or just your practical computer usage skills. As somebody with a technical background, I've always felt like emphasis on knowing like the programming language of the day is almost always overemphasized. What you really need is an understanding of the fundamental mathematics that underlies any software package that implements the mathematical ideas, which are very basic and very old. But I know hiring managers, emphasize those things. And if they're choosing between a person who they have to train up, to use TensorFlow or whatever their back office software of choice is, and someone who can't put that on their resume, they're probably going to lean toward the person that has the right acronyms under their skills area of their resume.
Great. And as a follow-up, so do you recommend that how can they show employers that they have these practical computer usage skills? Can they show them like a program that I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with what this entails, but what are some concrete things that they can show their employers?
So like a portfolio on,
okay, yeah.
on GitHub of past projects. You can try to win machine learning contests on Kaggle and other websites, and you can take also online courses from, not from universities, but from things like Coursera and specific technologies, just to show that you know something about R or whatever. You can take a Coursera course on R, and then they put that certificate on your LinkedIn profile. So that might be something that would be helpful. And just doing things. The first place I would suggest going is I would enter some machine learning contests on Kaggle, and I would read the kernels for the people that had won previous contests and see what they're doing. And you can catch up on what the leading technologies are at whatever time that this is happening.
I also might add, if you're interested in cybersecurity, before the pandemic struck, locally, there's Seesaw Computer Science Awareness Week. It's usually this week, the first week or second week of November, and it's hosted by NYU Poly in Brooklyn. And they have a hackathon over the weekend. So you might want to be on one of those teams. John Jay, our computer science club, we always enter a team. And, it builds team spirit, camaraderie. But if you get one of the citations and you're on one of the winning teams, that's a good feather in your cap.
Yeah, definitely. And like Anna is already planning to pursue an internship, and that is a great idea too. Then you could get out and actually, do some data science in the real world. Or it seems like we're kind of ignoring the people that might be interested in cryptography, but there would be probably similar issues there.
And there are a number of internships. Now that I know you're interested, I will start sending them to you. I get them from a number of sources: the Department of Homeland Security, Oak Ridge National Laboratories. Now, these are internships that come with a stipend, but they are competitive. So,
okay.
And the department also has a contact person now, Doug Smith. We can put you in touch with him if you'd like to speak with him. He specializes in connecting students with internships. So that's pretty recent and really exciting that we have. I think we're handling internships well now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. I appreciate that.
If you could forward those opportunities to us as well, I think it will help us help the students. That would be great.
Yeah.
Anything else, Anna, that you may have any other questions, concerns that perhaps Dr. Johnson or Dr. Graff could answer? And this is a safe space. You can ask whatever you like.
I don't have any questions that come to mind right now, but I know if I do, at least I know who I'll contact. I can contact either Hunter or, Professor Graff.
Cool.
And I would tell you, we're the advisors. Don't let, if you have a doubt about something or you have a question, don't put it off.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to planning your progression through the requirements of the major. Come early, plan, and we want to see everybody graduate in 4 years if they can. We like you, but we don't want to keep you beyond the 4 years.
If there aren't any other questions, any last words or advice that you may have for Anna or any other student listening to this recording?
Math majors tend to be small, ours included. The relative size of the math major compared to the computer science major is at least one order of magnitude. But the others, and that's because math is hard. But math being hard and us having kind of a small program also has some advantages. So you have quite a few faculty members dedicated to the right now 30 or 40 majors that we have. So we can offer, individual attention, a lot of contact time. And I really feel like the reason I majored in math is not because my parents wanted me to be a math major, but they kept telling me to take math because it would keep my options open. And I feel like that was good advice, and I'm glad that I took it. And I would give the same advice to a young person now. If you have a strong background in mathematics, it's easy to move on to other things. And if you have a facility for it, or if you just have a desire to do something in a technical field, I would do a math major again for sure. And I think it's a great career path for people that can do it.
Yeah, I would have to emphasize what Professor Johnson said. Mathematics is the language, the backbone of all the sciences, of all the technical disciplines. And if you think about it, even computer science, what is the entire raison d'etre of computer science? It's because there was a need to develop a subfield called numerical analysis, which developed solutions for problems that didn't have solutions in closed form. For example, when any spaceship is launched in the US space program, all those orbits, the trajectory that the ship is going to follow, they're all computed ahead of the actual transit time. And those computations are, well, they can be expressed using mathematical algorithms, but you can't do the computations by hand in real time. It's just not feasible. And so that was the motivation for developing the modern computer and all of computer science. So, and if you think about it, machine learning is making its way into the social sciences, especially psychology. Ultimately, it's going to be the language of everything. And so, as Professor Johnson said, you essentially have the world on your plate, and you can roll with the punches and go wherever the demand is greatest, and you have the skill to adapt to whatever career track or environment you choose. So it's in short, in one word, it's freedom to choose.
And it's also insurance against automation and the kinds of crazy societal changes that are happening. The workforce is completely different than it was 10 years ago, and it'll be different 10 years from now than it is right now. And I think one of the best ways to be prepared over the course of your 40-year working life, or who knows what's coming, is to just have a good grounding in fundamental mathematics.
It's true. And just to give you an idea how the world is going to change, people were saying that drones are going to do all the deliveries and so on and so forth. And I like to throw this in, but there's something called quantum teleportation, which is what science fiction is sort of made of if you look at some of the Star Trek episodes. But eventually, most likely, that's how deliveries will be made someday in your lifetime. You'll order something from Amazon and it will be quantum teleported. No mail, no truck, just through the air. It will come right to you all by itself. There are going to be a lot of other changes. Any process that is repetitive is going to be automated completely. You'll have robots doing a lot of things, and they have to be programmed. And there will be machine learning algorithms built into them. An example, the vacuums that vacuum automatically. They learn the floor plan of your house. The Roomba, that's how they know just what to do every week. And this is coming to everything. And when you look all the way inside it, there's a mathematical foundation.
Thank you. That is not something I had thought about and wish I had known maybe some years ago. So maybe I would have majored in math instead of chemistry. Who knows?
Yeah, history is also a good choice.
I think if Anna doesn't have any other questions, I think this is it.
No, I
Okay.
don't have any questions. I think everything was pretty much covered.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you found it helpful, Anna. Thank you, Dr. Johnson and Dr. Graff, for your time.
Thanks for letting us advertise our program.
Yes, of course.
And thanks for having us. It's been real.
All right. I will stop the recording.